County of Education for Tuesday, August 19, 2025 order. All members are present. The pledge of allegiance to the flag. Pledge of allegiance to the flag. Which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Delegation. Do we have any delegation? Number 4 would be recognition of the draw club, presentation certificate for direct training regarding county protocols, procedure, and conduct. Sarah Billy Dunlap, Ollie Barkley, Dimitri Klein, Dr. Lisa Williams, Andrew McNabb, Susan Rollinsworth, and H. Samuel, Dr. Sue Hawthorne, H. Samuel Gibson, and Emery. We don't need a motion for that. Yeah. Recognition.
Yes. The first certificate that we have tonight is going to go to Charlie Hughes and Nathaniel Barkley. The drama club repainted the stage at the high school. I don't know if you've been there to see it. I think it looks beautiful. It's the center point of our presentation today, and I was so proud. So thank you very much. You come up here with the board. Mom, do you want to be in the picture? Are you sure? Right there.
That's the right.
So.
No.
He's been to the fifth.
1, 2, 3.
All right, thank you so much.
We actually had 18 in some and paint and worked really hard. But our kids will be arts kids, so they're all painting. They were very, very pleased.
Thank you for volunteering.
They really took a long time and let's do. Super excited.
Yes, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
Thank you. So the next group of certificates that I'm going to hand out is from the School Board Association. That's your certificate for your advanced training.
We did. We can say it.
Yeah.
She's graduating too.
You graduated, so get your diploma. So the first one will go to Miss Julie Dunlap, if you want to come up and join the board members' minutes. Thank you for participating. The next one is from Miss Sarah Williamson. There's Sarah, thank you, Sarah. Oh, that's okay. The next one is for Board President Emery Grimes. Thank you, Mr. Grimes. Dr. Sue Hartsworth, our Vice President. Next one is for Mr. Morgan McCombs. The next one is for Mr. Frosty Andrew McNabb. Thank you.
Thank you.
The next one is for Mr. Gibson. This is Oliver.
Did you not get one?
I did it, but I'm not looking. You can, look. All right.
Oh, my. You sure?
And this one goes to our superintendent, Dr. Lethal Weeks. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. And I also want to say that I don't know why Mr. O'Connell did not send one for Ms. Hammonds. But I will request yours, Ms. Hammond, who is behind the camera, participated that night. If we can scoot in here, we all have it in training.
All right, I'm gonna count 1, 2, 3. All right, great. So thank you.
You. I went back to school.
Are you smart for fifth graders?
You do that every meeting. Congratulations, every meeting. Let's do it. Good. Number 5 is school improvement update. You have,
I do.
okay?
So, I'm just gonna give you an update on Principals Academy and our Teacher Leadership Academy that we had today. Both are going very well. Susan and Matt participated today in her opening session. So what we're really working on is Together We Are Stronger is our theme. So today we talked about relationships, we talked about saying good morning to students, we talked about saying goodbye at the end of the day. We talked about letting students know that they are important to the learning process. And then for our Principals Leadership Institute, Ms. Dunlop participated in that. We did training on co-teaching, we did training on the LSIC process. We talked about standardization of our bus drop procedure and bus tickets. We talked about attendance, and we talked about how we engage our community in our schools in the learning process. So I think we are coming along and getting all of our stuff together as a group and moving forward. I feel really confident in the process, and there was nothing but good things said about today.
It was good.
So would you like to have anything else on it? Because you got to participate.
Well, I'm sorry. It's not really very. He today, this morning session, he was in California. He was a very good presenter. He kept it flowing, he kept it entertaining, and the staff really enjoyed it because we're all speaking freely, and it was good. Good thing.
Yes, and I would like to say thank you to our local business partner,
And
Pendleton County Bank. They gave our teachers all a little surprise bag. They provided refreshments. They stayed there for the entire time that we were getting set up. So it was a great day, and they were a key part of that.
the community, we've never had any problem in this county with the community helping.
Yeah, the mics are. You said Kendall there.
Okay.
2526 assessment results and balance scorecard.
Yes, so we're gonna go over that. Our results when, President Trump and Vice President Dr. Hollingsworth and I went to the state board meeting to present out for our county. They released the state assessment results for some of the GSA and the stat school day assessment results. So what I prepared for you today is a presentation where we can look at last year's assessment, this year's assessment, and then we can compare the 2 years. So down here for the presentation so that you will have a copy before you know. we want to look at overall performance for the 23-24 school year compared, for math and reading compared to 24-25 school year. In 23-24, ELA had 45% of our students proficient, and in 24-25, 9%, which is an overall gain of plus 4%. For the 23-24 math, we had 36%, and this is counting overall. And for the 24-25 math, we had 45%. So we had a 9-point gain in math from one year to the next, which is just an exceptional gain. So when you look at score results, you look at overall proficiency, and then you want to look at the performance indicators. So what I have up on the screen for you for the performance indicators, let me explain the colors. So red does not meet standards, so that's the lowest performance level. Yellow is partially meets standards, and as the superintendent, this will be the area of kids, the group of kids that I will focus on, because this is the group of kids that you can move. Blue is meet standard, and then green is exceed standard, so they're performing at the very top. I want to say that it is unbelievable the amount of students that Pocahontas County Schools has in the green level. So there's some exceptional things going on in our schools for our brightest students. With that said, if you look at the lowest performing level, we have 25% in our in math is the lowest. We have 22 in reading, and then we have almost 29 in science. So the next slide is going to really break down and look at proficiency by grade level. And this is the number of students that met standard and are actually in the blue level. So for third grade, we had 57 and 51, 57 in math and 51 in reading. Fourth grade, 61% in math were proficient and 55 in reading. Fifth grade, we have 43% in math and 50% in reading. Sixth grade, 30% in math, 43% in reading. Seventh grade, 39% in math, 44% in reading. Eighth grade, 50% in math, 60% in reading. And then ninth grade, 11th grade, 29% and 41%. Overall, these are phenomenal scores. We've done a great job. However, if there's an area of concern for us to worry about, it would be that as students move from third grade to 11th grade, students become less proficient in math. Now, is that a curriculum issue? Is that an attendance issue with the student? Is that an instructional issue? We know that we have some issues that we have to work on. So we have to kind of look at and calibrate where we see sudden drops in our scores and where we see growth. Those are some great things we can capitalize on, and there's some areas we can improve on. So on the next slide, I decided to break it down by each school so you can see the proficiencies by school. I think that's really important. So for Hillsborough Elementary, we are seeing that they only have 2 grades that showing their proficiency levels. And the reason for that is if you have a cohort under 12 students, they will not count in your accountability scoring. So in third grade, they had 83% proficient in math and 67% proficient in ELA. Fourth grade, 67% proficient in math and 67% proficient in ELA. So the next school that we're going to look at is Marlinton Elementary. For Marlinton Elementary, third grade, we had a 54 proficiency in math in third grade, a 44% in ELA. Fourth grade is 61% in math, 67 in ELA, and fifth grade a 41% in math and a 44% in ELA. So you can see that there is a different scores there. So we have to do some data analysis to figure that out. For Green Bay Elementary Middle, we have 6 grades of accountability there. And remember, these are accountability scores, so any student that wasn't there for the 135 days are not included. So for math, we have 54%, ELA 50, math 59%, ELA 24, fifth grade math 32%, ELA 42, sixth grade math 20%, ELA 25, seventh grade math 25%, ELA 29, eighth grade math 33%, ELA 28. If we move on to Arlington Middle School, for sixth grade, we see a proficiency in math of 35% and ELA 51%, seventh grade 50% in math and 57% in ELA, eighth grade 57% math and 73% in ELA, which is astronomical. That is a great ELA score for that grade level. And then we get to Pocahontas County High School. So I've actually switched these numbers around accidentally, I think. So math was 41%, math was 28%, and ELA was 41%. So I got those numbers mixed up there. And then science was 47%.
This is milestone. What's that say? Henry, that's super. No, that one right here on the bottom.
It says it's science,
So,
science.
the date. That's not like this is science, but it's mathematical and science. Right here.
You know, to do.
It's,
Teach. Oh, so what you are seeing here is this starts in 2015.
yeah.
This is your 10th year performance, so that 2015, 16, 17, 18. Yeah, yes,
They all have some little diagrams here. 21, 22.
that's, yes, it is. So on page 8, I would be remiss if I didn't talk about special education. So we know that we have some issues in special education, some things that we have to work on. So our ELA performance across the board, we are seeing a gap between our students that are in special ed and our regular education students in their performance. I think the greatest concern that we have in special ed, from my viewpoint right now, is that mathematics, we have 2 grade levels with 0% kids proficient. And that was 5th grade and a 7th grade. So that means countywide, all students that are in 5th grade in special ed and in 7th grade in special ed did not reach performance level of means mastery. So we have to kind of investigate that a little bit. Then, questions?
I would say that special ed in that grade is 7 hard group right there. Case.
It really is. So what does this mean overall? The nitty-gritty of the situation for our county. Pocahontas County Schools is performing better in ELA than math countywide. That's kind of what our data tells us, right? Pocahontas County School students decline in mathematics performance as they progress through the grade levels apart from Marlton Middle School. Special education students are lower performing in ELA and math, with math being our main area of concern, which I talked about. Overall data is trending upwards, so there's a big celebration there across the board with all of our teachers for the great job they've done. The potential for growth in proficiency rate is about 30% for math and about 28% for ELA. And what that means is that we have a percentage of our students that's on the bubble of being proficient that weren't proficient last year. So we have to target those students, see what skill deficits they have, adjust our instruction, and we learned about multi-tiered systems of support today, get them where they need to be, and we can move our county up that much. There are areas, the area of greatest concern in PCHS is special ed is math. They have the most students in the lowest performance level and the least amount of students proficient at all. So what that means is that because there's so many students in the very bottom performance level, we have to look at how we move those students to partial mastery and the partial mastery students to mastery. So something that, let me stop there. Are there any questions, comments, or concerns from the board members that you would like to ask me about anything I've talked about today?
How many special education teachers do we have? Yeah, not sure.
I think we have 3.
You know, when you look at this data, right? A lot of times the graphs, it's kind of confusing because when you compare yourself to school and against the state, you know, it seems like when you compare read notes, it's confusing sometimes.
I think I understand what you're saying. We are among the best of the states, but our state is among the worst of the states in performance. So because we're the best of the worst doesn't mean you don't strive to be.
That's
That's it. You see what I'm saying? I know it didn't make sense, but
It does make sense. That's what I was trying to say there. I'm going to support the park. It depends on how you look at how you look at it.
and I want to say a little bit about our county, but I want to also acknowledge School Digger. School Digger is a resource out there that compares all the elementary schools, all the middle schools, all the high schools in all the county. So on schooldigger.com, Pocahontas County moved up to 14th in the state. That's a huge celebration for our county. We're 14th in the state of West Virginia. So I think that's definitely something to be celebrated. And I'm just going to acknowledge all of the schools. And this is the last page and all of their rankings because they have come up in non-accountability rankings. So we've come up overall as a county. So Pocahontas County, Hillsborough ranked 20th out of 355 elementary schools. Pocahontas County, Marlington Middle School was 15th out of 168 middle schools. Huge. Marlington Elementary School was 138 out of 155 schools, 355 schools, excuse me. Pocahontas County High School is ranked 48 out of 111 high schools. So, and then Green Bank Elementary Middle is 245th out of 355. So I think there's enormous celebrations in our data, but there's also a lot of potential to collaborate collectively, plan intentionally, and teach with purpose to move our students to the next performance level. Ultimately, I would like to see our county move into the top 10 counties in the state. So what I did, got my binder mixed up here. I researched the top performing high schools in the state, and there are high schools in the state that have 60 to 70% proficient in math and reading. I think we have the potential for, with our small schools, with the right professional development and the right plan, to also have that. I believe that we can do it. So that is something that I'm really working hard to bring us all together, moving in the right direction, so that we can have another celebration next year.
One thing we need to keep in mind when we look at the special ed, because it's so low. We train our special ed teachers to teach the students where they are. So you may be in fifth grade, but you're third grade math. when testing time comes, even though you're in third grade all year long, and you've done marvelously, you're gonna take a test in fifth grade.
Yes.
And we need to keep that in the back of our minds whenever we look at our special ed and think, oh, they're doing terribly. No. We're testing them all, and that comes from the state, not from us.
Yeah, so a couple of things about special education, that's a wonderful point. But with multi-tiered system of support, if we are doing that correctly, and I'm speaking from a principal, so this is principal talk. I had some of the highest performance in math at the elementary level in special ed. So when I moved my school to the top performing elementary, I was like 1/10 away from being the Title I school of the year. People don't know what that means nowadays, but it was a big deal. And an exemplar OEPA school. You can't move the school unless you move that bottom group. And you've got to have a consecutive year plan. So you're right, they have to move from performing below, not meet standards, to partial. You have to work them up that ladder and that skills and support. And we've got to get that in place, because we do not have that in place from our special education monitoring. And once we do, I think we could potentially be the top performing county. I believe that.
I want to remind people, and I appreciate this, it's really good. I agree with everything.
Eliminate a math teaching position at the high school, you know. I'd like to visit, request to improve math scores over there. Maybe we need to rethink that.
Bring it back. Now, it's special education.
We pay for math specialists. So maybe we need to utilize her better at that level.
Yes, I agree.
I don't know, but, you know. Say it.
I'm just curious, does anybody ever do a comparison between the state testing scores and kids' actual scores at the end of the school year, their school score?
Yes, there is that graph that I put up last week had the state, the county, and then the school. But if you would like for me to bring that back to the next board meeting to show you how all that looks.
The test scores that they get when you state county testing versus the grade they get on the report card.
Oh, we haven't started calibrating that, but that is something great
You have a
calibration.
discrepancy there. It shows you have discrepancy. They have an A on their report card and their score.
But you know, I've been heard.
Yes.
That's like, they can come up with this one. That's,
Grade calibration is something that we have to understand what a grade means.
Mm.
Right now, a grade means, okay, you're getting an A, but what a grade should mean is that all the standards that were required to be taught in that class, you mastered those. And you can demonstrate them on the test. So there is a discrepancy between getting an A and then being non-proficient on your test. That's an issue that we have to calibrate. I would agree.
I know we had a problem with nice honor students couldn't get a proper scholarship if it. There's something wrong with it.
I agree. You're 100% right. Because they should have mastered that content.
Have everything nice honors facts. Have a whole lot. Thank you.
any other questions? We still want to continue training for that 60 and our students of school year.
They do have an advisory period built into their schedule, which does include some remediation and intervention activities. And I would imagine that that will be part of those. What I would like to see happen at the high school is we need to expand our use of IXL for staff preparation. And there's a free program on there called Khan Academy that releases up to 10 previous tests. It used to be you had to buy those tests, they were $35 each, But the students have access to 10 previous tests that they can take and work out throughout the year to review. And then we probably need to look at our algebra standards and algebra 2, because the majority of the SAT school day is algebra and algebra 2.
Sure, I mean, past couple of years, they've been testing
Juniors.
seniors testing.
They are getting the ninth grade, the PSAT,
Yeah.
they are giving us assessments.
Any other questions, Dr. Williams?
Okay,
Item number 6, consent agenda items, approval of minutes from July 15, 2025. Approval of the agenda, payment bills subject to additions, deletions, and other charges prior to the board meeting. Payment of vendor listing $74,026.45. Payment of local government purchasing cards $72,707.80. August 5th, 2025 employee payroll $269,254.61. Bank reconciliation for the month of July 2015. Budget transfers and supplements, subject to additions, deletions, or other changes prior to the board meeting. Do I have a motion?
Mr. McCollum made a motion. Do I have a second?
Dr. Hall for a second. Any questions on that?
Hearing none, Superintendent, would you ask our treasurer how our budget is coming along?
Are we staying within the guidelines of
We should.
We are staying within the guidelines we should. We are still where we need to be on the black and on the red. We're getting some progress going on.
I'm aware.
We're getting ready to see what we can do about some upgrades and other upgrades that we've done.
We just gotta be very careful.
Need to do.
And you gotta be looked at.
Anything major will be brought to you.
We do have, we're just, other bills for insurance purchase or get hold of. So.
We're gonna go over that tonight.
Okay.
We'll go over all that tonight and inform you.
All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Personnel matters, number 7.
We need to have a
Yes, okay, discussion of Pocahontas County personnel may be involved in executive session as provided.
16-9A-4B to a personal exception and or 69A-B-6 privacy exemption. The board majority must vote to have an executive session. No action will be taken during this executive session. Do I hear a motion for an executive session? Mr. McCollum made a motion. Do I have a second? Mr. Gibson second.
This will be
An executive session for personnel of Pocahontas County High School. Motion carries. We will now go into executive session at
6:35.
We did, yes. Okay,
Do I have a motion to come out of executive session, to go back to regular session?
Mr. McCollum made a motion. Do I have a second? Mr. Gibson seconded. All those in favor, signify by saying aye. Motion carried.
We come back in regular session.
7:12. Okay,
Superintendent updates. Superintendent. What we got? We haven't finished personnel. We're gonna go on personnel now.
yes.
Personnel, it's number 7. And Ollie, read him.
Yes. Personnel agenda for August the 19th. Professional recommendations. Jeanette Wagner transferred to assistant principal, Pocahontas County High School, position 46676. Christine Campbell, where she went to the principal's position. The following were not filled, the same ones. Last agenda.
you don't have to read all that.
We do have some, we have to straighten out the. Just read the words that were straightened. Director of Personnel Technology, structured out, teacher fifth grade Lawrence Elementary, teacher multi-subjects fourth grade Greenback, teacher multi-subjects fourth grade Greenback, teacher special education Greenback, teacher of science Greenback, counselor Greenback, teacher of alternative education Marlins Middle School and Greenback Elementary Middle School, teacher of social studies Pocahontas County High School, the special education teacher, Pocahontas County High School, the second special education teacher, Pocahontas County High School, teacher of special education / elementary multi-subjects at Hillsborough Special Education Classroom, Bus 8, Pocahontas County High School, accounts payable central office, and secretary 3, secretary 2, accountant 2, Greenbank will be Michaela Malcolm, pending background check. And employment of our coaching staff as per the agenda. Depending on the floor.
Speak at acronym PPF.
I would have to look that up, and that's all you guys off the top of my head. It's for our aides that are in the third grade success. It's a special certification. I'll look it up.
See that?
Does anybody have any questions about
Personnel. All those in favor, signify by saying aye. Motion carried. Now, superintendent.
Okay, so superintendent updates, I'm gonna go to Senate Bill 199. The West Virginia Department of Education has released information on that. You should have had that in your packets. Looks like this. Okay. So basically, I'm gonna summarize this information for you of what Senate Bill is and what we are looking for that. You know, yes, even. Okay, so actually I can't see that. So we're looking at the law, so I just pulled up Senate Bill 199. So teachers may exclude from his or her class or the bus any student who is guilty of any of these infractions. Disorderly conduct, who in any manner interferes with the orderly educational process in the classroom, who behaves in a manner that obstructs teaching of others or learning, the learning process for others in the classroom who threatens, abuses, or otherwise intimidates or attempts to intimidate a school employee or student who willfully disobeys an employee and who uses abusive or profane language directed at a school employee. So if any of that happens, a student shall be excluded and placed under the control of the principal or the school designee that's the principal. So returning to class is a process. The excluded students may be admitted to class or school or the school bus only after a school counselor, school social worker, school psychologist, or behavior interventionist develops a behavioral plan for re-entry into the classroom. These plans have to be implemented a minimum of 2 weeks each time that they are done. If the principal finds that the disciplinary action is warranted, he or she shall provide written and, if possible, telephone notice of the action to the parents, the guardians, and to the teacher. When a student is excluded from a classroom or a bus 2 times in the same semester, after exhausting all reasonable methods of classroom discipline provided by the school discipline plan, the student may be readmitted to the classroom or the bus only after the principal, teacher, school counselor, or school social worker, and if possible, the parent or guardian custodian of the student have a conference to discuss the student's disruptive patterns. A student's social worker, behavior specialist, board certified behavior analyst. There's a list of people that have to work with this student to develop what's called a behavior intervention plan. This is something that we have to work on county-wide as behavior intervention plans. It was a finding in our special ed monitoring that we are not doing this well.
Still part of that
That's their bill.
IEP thing.
Well, it's part of the IEPs, but it's also part of disruptive behavior for development students. So thereafter, the student's disruptive behavior persists upon teacher's request, the principal may, to the extent feasible, transfer the student to another setting. And then here are the processes that's in your packets. The important thing about this is we do not have a county-wide system of alternative education. So we have to start looking at some restructuring of our alternative education programs to make sure if we have students that we are going to exclude for a grading period for 9 weeks, we have to have some place to send them. We have to set that up. So I haven't posted a couple of positions because I'm looking at and thinking about realigning how that alternative education program looks. Where can we put a behavior classroom for elementary education that's appropriate? Where can we put a behavior intervention classroom for the middle school students that's appropriate? And the high school already has a behavior classroom. But we also have to look at who's going to administer that. Who is the principal that's overseeing the processes that's going on in that place? The law also says if they return to the bus, if you pull them out of the classroom and they're excluded on that classroom, then the principal or a principal designee or an adult assigned by the principal has to ride the bus home with the student or they can't ride the bus. So there's another caveat. So I believe this was rolled out to us, and I believe we have about 90 days to get this fully implemented. As it is Ms. Dunlap's duties to be over disciplined. I know she's super excited about that. That's all over her face over there. I have asked her to work with Mr. Gibson. And we've kind of batted around some ideas. We don't have anything solid. But she will be preparing a plan and bringing that proposal to the board for us to discuss together in the next couple of meetings, so we have this in place for our students. But I wanted you to know that we do have to develop a plan, and it is at the front of our stove, we're cooking on it, but we've gotta get our ducks in a row. And we've gotta get a policy, we've gotta look at our policy and make sure the policy is outlined for us. Stuff like that, you think?
I can like searching other counties to see what they come in place and see if there's any language that we can use that aligns with what we've got in place. And if we're going to have to transfer our language to accommodate this. I want to make sure that we do it effectively and reasonable for our students and for our staff.
These people, students, I've seen a lot of students pull out of middle school and stuck in alternative ed in high school. And I don't think one of them ever graduated. This happened to be killing for it. They were stuck up there with no instruction, just sitting in that room.
Do we still have Ned at Cass?
Yes. Yeah, the YRC, yes,
Yeah, that's a plus.
Yes.
yes.
I mean, that's a good, so,
Like that, I like that.
But we really, to be doing this effectively, you should not have middle school students with high school students and high school students with middle. You should be mixing the programmatic levels. So we gotta come up with a plan that addresses each of the programmatic levels and how we're gonna support them in those services. So we have to have an intake process and an integration back into the school environment process.
This is good.
So, that is all I have for updates. If there are any other questions?
We have it. Okay.
Old business,
A, policy 5136, personal devices and economy. That's the policy that for 30 minutes. Policy 7504 staff, technology, acceptable use and safety. That's our comment. Discussion of approval of standards for open professional development, Larry Bell, 1200 words that increase test scores and help
close the achievement gap. See,
Officer.
how, why, handwriting,
Jordan Simpkins, relational classroom management, solution tree keynote speaker, Dave Chippery.
Yeah.
student engagement, professional learning, Alex, pronounce that last name, Kenny. Katani, Katani.
Stay inspired and motivational all year long. And D is discussion and review of gymnasium
Floor graphic.
Do I have a motion? Then the phone, the motion, do I have a second? Mrs. Hollingsworth, second. Okay. Now, we're gonna pick these one at a time, or you want to?
Yes, let's do
Let's go with A.
Okay.
This is our own comments.
So this is our policy comments that we have up here. I read through these comments, but the law's pretty clear on what we can and cannot do. Students cannot have their cell phones out in the classrooms. We do have a caveat in our policy, if they are using it for a verification code for a virtual course. We do have some flexibility in the hallways, but they still have to be powered off. So when we start looking at the comments, some of them we can, I will look at and see if I need to adjust the policy. Some of them are not, we can't do anything about them. And then we have our staff policy, which is 7540. The use of AI was not selected. Does that mean students can use AI to complete their daily assignments or projects? No, we are not saying that. We have to do a training on AI. And I can't remember exactly how it was in the policy, but it specifies when and where they can use AI. And I can email these. I should put these in the board packet, but I will email these. This is Hammonds and I have talked about, we should not have policies that are anonymous. So moving forward, the name of the commenter will be provided. We need to make sure that's people in our community. We need to make sure that it's not students that are just commenting. So names and emails, and then we can see what we have to do there that actually.
Can we do that?
Yes. I've done it before and it's always done it.
And this is not because I'm you want to comment on, you want that in comment.
Correct.
I agree. And we'll get down under the B's, that's 75.
75, we already have one on B.
Yeah.
There are several teachers who use the internet for more than just intent, well, we don't need to read that. Because those are things that we'll address as we come along. But if there's people not using internet, for things that are appropriate, we will address that. With that stated, I do want to let you know that I did speak to the technology department today, Jimmy, and I haven't had a chance to speak with Chrissy today. But one of our monitoring findings at the high school was they don't have walkie-talkies. They don't have a consistent intercom system, and they don't have, any way to access cell phone service. So I spoke with Jimmy and Jimmy and Christy, if you can help me out on this, if you have anything to add. They have created a closed guest network that we could put their cell phones on to allow them to have their cell phones for emergency services if they need, and we can monitor that on the network as well. So that is probably going to be the resolution to that part of the plan until we can look at the intercom system and make sure that it is high function.
They have walkie-talkies. They use it to football.
But not every classroom.
Yeah, true. They have the new cell phones. They have in-room phones, right? Yes. So the intercom, that's not working.
That's what the report said was reported. So we have to do some investigation.
Yeah, there is also Wi-Fi at Fieldhouse.
Some of the teachers are linked to the Wi-Fi to use it.
Right, and I'm saying if we narrow the bandwidth and we set it down to, low graphic density, then we can prevent them from logging on to social media and things like that, but still having text service and call service.
Yeah, because they was concerned, football, somebody got hurt or something like that, so they got Wi-Fi down there. We got that last year. Jimmy looked at.
We're in the process of getting a phone line put down there too, just a regular copper line where it's.
There's phone line in the coach's office, so, yeah.
They always have.
Yeah, there has some issues with this. We've been working on, Brittany's been working with us on that too, so.
That's got the line runs from top to ground from the school down past the sewage plant across the creek. Unless it changes it by.
So I haven't been to coach's office. I think I was in there last year. And well, maybe the phone was there. I didn't check it. Yeah, it works because we got on the same line last year as somebody talking in the coach's office.
Broadcasting on radio.
Somebody went to talk. Now we hook up the Wi-Fi, so we don't have to.
I think- I just want to be cautious how I say this. I don't know that the line that we had was a legitimate line. I don't know either way. I want to be cautious about what I say there. We are getting a legitimate copper line installed. Okay.
Once we start really digging into safety, we haven't started that. Mr. Gibson's been very busy. But, once we start digging into safety, all of our fax machines, if our phone goes down, should be set to immediately convert to an emergency line that you can,
They used to,
they do that.
you could call out and ask if they're phone line, then you could call for papers.
They still do. We have.
We can still do that.
It used to be, you had to unhook the fax machine and then we hooked up the field house line.
I remember, see, that's what I'm driving.
Switches, what time to put the press box.
So we have some to look into, but I just wanted to let you know if cell phone service, that's something that we have to think about.
And C is presented.
That you're gonna have for the teachers.
It is the presenters we were going to have, for the teachers, we had Alex today, stay inspired and motivated year long. He did a phenomenal job presenting to the teachers. He outlined several great things. He talked about various strategies, for student engagement and school-wide forms. I'll just start at the top. Larry Bell will present our opening day, the 28th. After Larry Bell, tomorrow, Zaner Blosser will present on the how, the why of handwriting. To make sure handwriting is solidly in place, because the concept of print is essential to read. And I think every student should be able to write in cursive, and should be able to print, and should be able to read both. That's a fundamental skill. So we're gonna train our teachers on how to do that, what that looks like to support that. Jordan Simpkins is gonna talk about relational classroom management. He's gonna talk about, posting expectations, having norms for how you do things. He's gonna talk about how when we say to students, we're gonna do something and then we don't do it, it hurts our relationship with them. So say what you mean and mean what you say and do it. So he's just gonna really refresh us on some of that, relationship thing and communication. And then we have David, I can't say his name either. You got me messed up, no. David is going to work with all the related arts and all of the CTE teachers. And what he's going to talk to them about is classroom management in non-traditional classrooms. He's going to talk to them about setting high expectations for reading and math, because technically those should be integrated in all of our core areas. So we're really going to get some great things out of that. And then D, I'm going to go ahead and bring that up. And Christy, can you bring up that graphic for me, please?
Yes, I'm trying to see what we're talking about, the gym floor, right?
It's the gym floor plans.
Okay.
So, several board meetings ago, you, asked me to get you graphics for the gym floor. So I emailed our SBA folks and asked them if they could come and meet with us. And Mr. Gibson and I met with them a couple of days ago. Was this when? Last Friday?
Last Wednesday, I think.
Was it Wednesday?
I think it's Wednesday, yeah.
We met with them last Wednesday. Do you want to be the Vanna and point to stuff?
Okay.
Oh, perfect. So,
We were just trying to bring more dark.
yes, that's who it was. So why don't you kind of talk about the stain, why don't you just give them a brief overview, Mr. Gibson, of this?
Okay, well, we started off, we had warriors with spears across the center, and you couldn't see the arm very well, so there was some concern about that. So we started discussing logos and that kind of different things and different stain colors. So he's come up with an idea of the tomahawks. We had two sections of the tomahawks cut out of that floor at the high school and saved. And right now, if anybody in here knows why we did that, let me know, because I wasn't involved in it. Nobody knows where they're supposed to go. Nobody knows who wanted them cut out. So, but anyway, so we sort of copied that logo, and he came up with the center logo design with the tomahawks, and the positioning of this could be turned, because basically right now, if this is the locker room side, that's usually been the home side. Would this one be turned where you're looking at the tomahawk from there? Because usually the visitors are sitting over here, then we're home people here. So anyway, we've looked at the decals for the Pocahontas. Of course, our student support group's the tribe, so we have the tribe over here right now. And then we had different stain colors. This is we have the normal stain color 1, which is just the plain maple, and then stain color 2, a little darker, and then the stain color 3 for the sections there.
And around the corner.
Right. So yeah, and around the perimeter. This was actually, I think it was a paint around the perimeter.
Is that paint around the corner or how we're doing color wood?
Around the perimeter.
Yeah.
I think
They've got some paint colors. What does he have? Yeah, it's paint color number 4, which is the darker maroon color. So it was painted.
Oh, that's cool.
Is that the tomahawk's feathers, that yellow?
Yeah,
That's feathers.
3 feathers.
But could we change that to the 3 different school colors?
Oh, each of the feathers?
Yeah.
That's great.
That's a good idea.
Orange.
So is it blue, red, and orange? Is that what you have?
Yeah. Hills.
Those were red there.
Right, don't forget about MES is green, so it would be full, wouldn't it?
That's right, kind of, feel like.
Well, the middle school speed.
Elementary should be.
Yeah, I guess.
Well, you could
But
do it two.
for fees, middle school.
Hills, red and white, orange is orange and black, and green like is gold, blue.
So blue, green, and orange? Because there's 3 feathers, right?
Mhm.
Okay, we can do blue, green, and
Regular.
You could even have, well, whether you want to put the logos of the schools in those or the initials. On those stuff.
You know, just taking off what you said, if you took them three feathers and changed them three different colors and then run a kind of a area up the middle and then put your warrior, that means combined that them three makes one as they go into the high school. You understand what I'm saying, Dwayne?
so you want the arrow to come up where the feathers are?
Yeah, yeah,
Between the tomahawks,
yes.
so an arrow.
What do you all think?
I mean, you know, takes the three schools combined.
I'd like to see something. Combine small.
And then these three schools or three colors make this warrior.
Makes you big, says the air, it may conflict with the lines.
It might do it.
Stain color 23 written in that one instead of 3.
So you do like the tomahawks though?
Yeah. I think you put the air, you're messing, you're gonna
You think?
mess with the reference. I do.
Well, you might, yeah. Yeah, that's true.
We have these spheres on the side.
Yeah, that's fine.
We could make, there was a suggestion, Mr. Gibson and I talked about writing Pocahontas warriors over here, putting warriors after this on the guest side.
Like over here.
Yeah, we had talked about that.
Well, the coach, you know, that most of your coaches are coaching from both, from the one side anyway. You got,
Say, the scores table should be right at the Pocahontas.
Like
right there,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, the scores table is usually here. The home side coach is here, the visitor side coach is here. But which way would we want that logo?
I think that.
That's fine.
Like it is, because the home side is sort of over here by the locker room.
It's not gonna matter.
It doesn't really matter. As you come into the doors of the gym,
Colors on the floor anyway.
when you come into the door of the gym, you're looking at it, so.
And they've been, if they film it, usually film it behind the scores.
That's what-
So, exactly.
Okay,
That's fine.
okay.
And then the third one is just basic. We didn't put anything on it.
Yeah, there's nothing in the center. And I personally don't care for that. That's personal.
Does
opinion.
it have,
Does it have volleyball marks on it?
what?
Yes, it does.
Yeah. And the volleyball standards are showing on here. I mean, they say,
Okay.
So you wanna go back through and see, you like the second best, but you with the color, three feathers, three different colors.
Yeah.
here's a question I have on mine. Should it say the tribe or just tribe? Just tribe only?
I think if you change the colors, then you should, or we want red, orange, what do you want, what's blue? Red, orange, and blue.
That lead up on
Can we get more?
We can, I was supposed to say.
You just make them smaller, I would think, the designer could possibly make it smaller.
They could probably
Or big one.
take the tomahawk.
There's
just
one
put
feather
it-
that comes down a little bit.
Or you attach two feathers.
I'm old school. The school downtown was always Marlin. Proper.
Those are copperheads.
I think they put Timberwolves on it, but, you know, the Timberwolves stayed into the middle school stayed into the high school. I think, I say the green.
Let's get with you, because middle school speed to high school, and you have 3 minutes.
I say.
Marlton Middle has Hillsborough and Marlton Elementary that feed to that middle school that then feeds to the high school. So you want to focus on that and put one feather would be a high school color and then both middle school colors.
Okay, so what colors?
Playing Dr. Sue, leaving the red out. The red devils are getting left.
Well, you don't have anybody that go play high school basketball, other than New Hillsborough. They gotta go to Marlton first.
Okay, what do you think about the feathers and then the purple? Or the. Well, maroon gold. I'm colorblind,
So I can't tell you.
What?
It looks red.
The whole thing looks red.
On that statue in the foyer, it's got
Think we're making a big to do.
Over nothing.
Orange, blue, and red.
Orange.
What? Whatever.
It doesn't make any difference.
It's an orange, blue, and red.
Yeah. That's so cool.
Okay.
That way you got all the community.
All right, so is there anything else you would like to change or adjust or?
Once we decide it's a done deal, we don't put it on public comment, that's what we want to do, it's going to be done now, make a decision now.
Maybe we'll have it tomorrow or something.
Okay, so we will do this. This will be, I'll get it adjusted and bring it back and show it to you. And then send it out to the community.
Any questions?
We talked about these.
I agree. This,
She
the
just,
sample could come up, yeah.
like these ones on the area.
Red and green. On those, that'd be the two elementary schools.
Okay.
Any more business we need to discuss?
Let's get to.
Hearing none, all those in favor, signify by saying aye. Motion carried. New business, approval of MOU between Pocahontas County Schools and Southern Educational Service for the West Virginia Mountain State Academy and Primary Learning. West Virginia Code 18A-2-7B State Book Rule. Discussion and possible action of PCS parent drop-off and pickup procedure. D, discussion of changes to local government improvement dates, assessment information. October the 7th, Morning Elementary School, October the 21st, Morning Middle School, November the 4th, Hillsborough Elementary School, and Green Bank Elementary School, November the 18th, Pocahontas County High School. Discussion, Senate Bill 199, disciplinary action. And F is discussion and approval of fundraising request. Do I have a motion? Mr. McCollum makes a motion. Do I have a second?
I'll say.
Mr. McNabb, second. Let's start out with number A.
But that's just our MOU for our proximity learning. It was included here. We do that every year. For our students that have virtual classes.
Okay, now we'll go down to number B, West Virginia 18-8-2-7B. Stacy?
Thing that we need to start, and this is in your packet. I'm just going to kind of tell you a little bit about it. This year, I would like to, I'll let you get there. Anyway, I'll just read it to you. Okay, so the state put rule allows the superintendent of the school system to say once school has started and once professional development has been provided, that all employees will stay in their position. So what this means is I would like to, it has minimal impact on anything else. So Pocahontas County School Systems will begin following the state put rule as outlined in West Virginia Code 18A-2-7B for professional employees. While this code has been in place for several years, we have not aligned our professional practice with this. And that's what allows teachers to move from school to school to school throughout the year. Which is not best for students. It's best for students if I train you to be an elementary teacher, then you stay an elementary teacher. If you're fifth grade, stay there. If you're first grade, stay there. So it will also apply to all of our service employees assigned as autism mentors and aides working with students with autism, paraprofessionals, early education classroom assistant teachers, aides providing one-on-one services as required in their IEP. It will also be required to remain in their current roles throughout the 25-26 year. The bidding and the hiring process stays the same, but it says that they cannot move into that position until the beginning of next school year, nor am I willing to allow an employee that we've invested time and money on to leave and go to another county. So that's what we're saying. It does not apply in code to bus drivers or extracurricular positions. Those will be exempt.
That'll be something you make a decision on each one.
That's correct.
Yes.
Yes,
So sometimes the movie is the best.
it is. If I think it's the best option, then they come and talk to me and I feel like it would be best for our students, and I'm willing to do that. But generally, I feel people moving 2, 3, 4 times within the school year is not an acceptable. It's disruptive.
And it has to be, and you have to be certified.
Yes. I'll send this out tomorrow if approved by the board tonight to all staff to let them know.
Okay. Number C, discussion of possible action, PC. Yes, drop off, pick up with me.
Mr. Gibson, would you like to go over this for us?
Okay, so bus drivers policy, transportation policy 2336 has a new section in it. Concerning prepaid for third grade students, well, the parents have to be there to get the kids on the bus, they have to be there to even get the kids off the bus. But they did add a section that says that each Board of Education shall establish a written policy for operators to follow when guardians or designee fails to be present at the bus stop. We've had that happen 3 times over the past year or two, like this year. We have habitual parents that fail on a regular basis, I'll say it that way. So drafted a procedure, I'm not calling it a policy just yet. So you'll have this in your packet.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
I think I need to read it to you. Anyway, so if a parent fails to be at the bus stop to get their kids pre-K through 3, so like three strike, you're outside. So consequences could be as follows. At first, the parents will be given a documented verbal notice, document together. Where the bus driver can say, you talk to the parent, I wanted to document that, get a copy of me. And then, next time it happens, you'll use written notice. Drivers will let me know, I haven't talked to the drivers about this yet either, it's a process. Then the second violation, the drivers will let me know, we have to write a letter to the parents and say, okay. This is the second time. The third time is we'll get clear. At that point, we've got some options. We could refer to the school systems fees. In transportation privileges for the child to work integral ranges to manage for the safety of the student. And the third option really could be referral to authorities for the child protective services. So we don't want to do anything for the student where if you put them off the bus or they're not going to put them in school. The parents aren't responsible enough to get them off the bus, or they're going to get them to school, which is going to hurt attendance. So I've reached out to transportation directors around the state and sent out a mass email. I had a few reply back and I sort of picked and looked parts of what they had, what others were thinking, creating what they come up with.
What is your procedure right now? So parent drop off contacts not there. You set our procedure. Stays at the bus driver stays there.
The bus driver will continue to help, we'll keep the child on the bus, try to radio the school, to get a hold of principals. Have them contact the parents, say, hey, you need to pick your kid up, after school, we're bring it back to the school, you can pick them up here. The bus driver's got to continue that route, as he's coming out with other kids to take care of. One of the most habitual problems we had is one of the last kids to get off the bus, on one particular route. So I have had that child dropped off to middle school, the very last day of school last year. They called me, said, you here in middle school. Kids with parents can't get that child out. So we can try to radio communicate and get a hold of the parents. We've been pretty successful with that.
You just stay there, somebody stays there.
Somebody stays with that student until parents get. Have not called the police yet or anything like that. And then the last time this did happen, I told the parent when they came, I said, we haven't called CPS yet. This next year, this is the last day of school. So next year, things are going to escalate. You know, so you have to be there with your child on the bus.
Now, what age do they have to be responsible?
Well, look at other policies from 6th grade through 12th grade. There's paper for that clear, but I got patched up a little.
Yeah, you have to do,
Yes.
the age.
So that's what another county had, 6 to 12, sounded reasonable. This document, the third one, parent guardian bus stop designee form, our board lawyer, we found that before, so I sent some information to me, suggested it this way.
So a sixth grader, you know, bus.
The 6th grade can take a sibling with them off the bus. So the pre-K to 3 can get off with an older sibling that is 6 through 12.
Maybe that should be an age then.
We probably should have an age.
That grade can have almost 3 different ages, and I know as a parent, if my 6th grade child couldn't get his little brother off, if the neighbor's 6th grade child was 2 years younger than my child, I wouldn't be happy. You see what I'm saying?
That's felt like, so 6 through 12 came from, other policies I was reading.
Or thinking if you're
If
60,
you're in the 6th grade, you have the
mental capacity to take care of your family.
Yeah.
But we can put an age there, it's like,
But if you're 11 or 12, that's a whole year different.
It is.
It is.
I think from the parent standpoint, you need something concrete that you can't argue about. So well, his kid's doing it, I can't mine. If you attach an age to it, then it don't matter if they're 3rd grade. If you're 12 years old,
it'd be very,
If you're in the 6th grade, you're
this years old, you're 10, 11, whatever.
would be.
yeah, we can do that.
We can do that. Well,
This is
No, this is a procedure. We don't have, this is a procedure we're gonna use.
So
We're
we
gonna rewrite our policy to, but we have to have a procedure in place.
we say it?
It's a procedure.
No, okay, no, no.
4336 says we have to have provided guards with a policy, a written policy.
So we are gonna get a written. Then it will go.
Policy has to go on 3-day
I
contract.
mean, we're not only, this is a state, like, now, other counties are going, well, this is what we're thinking. So look at what he's got this said, well, some counties may have it said, maybe share with. So we can't change that to an age we want to. The third page that our lawyer prepared, I guess 2 years ago, we'll see it put an age level 1. It's,
it wasn't asked the age, it asked the grade.
you got to go for kids, maybe more mature than others.
That happens sometimes.
They can take the sibling off the bus. So one of my kids, or my student, child, supposed to be a 4th grader, but got held back and they get off the bus and realized it's supposed to be a 4th grader. I said, well, no. There's some other sense.
Disagree. I think with everything that's this way complicated, just figure it out, whenever you got to, you know.
Okay, D, discussion of change.
Of the,
School improvement dates, assessment.
so for local school improvement, I had mentioned at the last board meeting that I would like for us to report out at every benchmark, and it's required by law for 3 benchmarks. So they'll come here for the first 2 after the benchmark. So what we're going to monitor is where were your kids at the end of last year? Where did they perform on the benchmark? How many bubble kids do you have? We won't say their names. We'll monitor the attendance rate. We're concerned about the attendance rate. And we will monitor the discipline rate. All of those are things we need to be monitoring. So the first one will be comparing, the first benchmark has to be given within the first 30 days of school. And then the second one will be comparing first benchmark to second benchmark. And then the third one is the end. And all the principals has been provided with the training. And all the directors, everybody's trained on it, I think.
We won't go to schools.
We will, the last one. Just like you always did, but I think it's important for the principals to come to you and say, this is my data. And you get to ask questions of them and say, what are you doing to improve it? What do you need to make it better? Just so that we have this constant eye on student achievement. We are all working on it together, and you have an opportunity to have a direct connection with school.
Very good. I like it.
Discipline of Senate Bill 199, disciplinary
We
action.
don't need to talk about that again.
That discussion and approval of fundraising request. And this is the fundraiser right here in the package, number E.
Yes, and all he has to do is-
Boosters, football boosters. Football boosters. All those in favor, signify by saying aye. Motion carries. We're good. Board members' remarks, Mr. Gibson.
Mr. Ross, before we go on, we not had one word to service recommendations, I'm sure we'll have to work. We need to make sure that we get the request to transfer Adam Taylor. He went to Alan Taylor's left and employment of Cody Gransgrove for that position. So we make sure that's.
Okay, all those in favor, signify by saying aye.
You got your. I seen that on the bottom.
So it is an agenda item. Yeah, we can't add an agenda item, but do it. Okay, so board members' remarks, Mr. Gibson?
Happy. Everybody else talks is happy, everybody's happy. Talk to anybody that's not. Sports is doing real good, off to a good start. On Saturday. That's all I have. I'm happy.
Mr. McKay?
I'd like to thank all the staff that showed up today for the training up at the high school. I was very impressed with it, staff and the speaker. And like I say, I'm very impressed with Dr. Williams. We'll just continue to grow together and we'll make things happen for our youth. Mr. Combs.
Drives. And you guys drive education. You're a group of people.
Dr. Holmesworth.
I would have what's been said. I'm sorry I didn't get there to the high school today. A little more constricted than I'm used to being. But I don't know of anything that you have put before. It's not positive and intended to make positive changes. And people are not going to be happy with some of what went on during personnel, but it's the law. And we're going to stick by it.
We'll see.
I think it was last Wednesday that we went to Charleston to meet with the State Board of Education
It was Dr. Hollingsworth.
and Dr. Williams and myself. And I will say this, I give Dr. Williams a rough time down. She's pretty nervous, but she done a absolutely terrific job down there and everything well with the state. And, you know, I was particularly associated with Pocahontas County and her representing us. She done an amazing job. Thank you. And,
It's like I told him down there, you know,
you've done a great job since you come in here as superintendent. And I think I can say this for the board, if you all
disagree, let me know. But we're behind you 100%.
understand. And, we want to see Pocahontas County
Schools and our students be very
successful. And that's our job, is to get our students to be successful as they can. And, but you've done a terrific job and we want to thank you.
Upset because they cut off Mrs. Blind. But then I thought, you did such a good job.
You can go back and watch it if you need to. In fact, I think one of the news outlets had a thing on it, and I posted it on Facebook the other day.
to hit your picture on. Mrs. Klein didn't get to say much, did she?
She got 2 sentences, and they said, that's enough. Let's vote on this. And it was all because you've done the job that you did, so thank you. We are hereby adjourned.